And they believe their hatred, their Trump derangement theory, it's going to be the fuel they need to beat him. But every time they throw him down, like Antaeus, he's going to come up twice as strong as he was before. And I'm loving every minute of it. They don't know what to do. They turned around and they saw that more black men have voted for Donald Trump than ever voted for any Republican in history. And they don't understand
it. So that's the question we have to ask. Why are more black people now voting Republican? Why is everybody voting for a convict? Trump's not for blacks. So why are young black men voting for Trump more than ever, more than history? The only people really voting Democrat right now are older blacks. Blats, like I said. Older blacks and women. Black women. That's the question. Why are black men breaking off? Why are black men breaking off for something different? We have to answer this question.
Well, I understand it.
We must ask this question. What in the heck is going on?
I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly why the people are still supporting the president. I know exactly. Y'all think the people are stupid. And the Democrats might have some evidence behind them to believe that, because Democrats, people vote for the Democratic Party has been stupid for a very, very long time, especially black Democrats. Black Democrats got to be some of the stupidest people that walk the face of the earth. Yeah, I said it. I say it again. Just in case you didn't hear me, I'll say it, and I'll say it slower. Black Democrats, have to be some of the stupidest people that ever walked the face of the earth. Now, Vince, why would you say that? Well, they were the part of slavery from 1800 to 1860. We know what slavery was to black folks, right? Selling them, raping them, putting them on auction blocks, making them pick cotton, work for free. Republicans' freedom, Civil War. Black men and white men came down here and died, close to 600,000 of them, to free black people from slavery. So the Democratic Party was part of the Confederacy from 1860 to 1865. Part of Jim Crow from 1865 to 1965, 100 years. Oh, wouldn't let them vote, beating them up, slapping them around, and then finally get a chance to vote. And guess who they vote for, y'all? You got it. The Democrat Party. And you want to ask me why I said they're stupid? I guess I just explained that to you. And now now just look around at you. Bottom of everything for the last 50 years since then, you're still voting for them. So yeah, I will say this very, very plainly. Any black person vote for the Democratic Party, you're stupid, and you need to have your butt whipped, and you will have it whipped, because it's getting whooped every day in the ghettos of America. And now, another...
Listen, nobody don't want to talk about this. You're not going to hear this on CNN. You're not going to hear this on MSDNC. Black people must wake up. We must wake up. If we don't wake up, we're going to get pushed out by the migrants, the immigrants, the jobs that black people say that black people don't want to do. The immigrants are going to take over those jobs. And then you're going to be crying and whining and complaining even more. Don't start crying now because you've been voting Democrat for 100 years.
The generation has come up and they see it. And they're saying, not us. Not us. It's this German Lutheran pastor who was put in the concentration camps of Germany. I was reminded of this guy. His name is Martin Niemöller. It's a German name. I think it's Niemöller. Marcus Niemöller. Mr. Niemöller was warning Germany about Hitler. Even before Hitler got very, very powerful, he warned them. And Hitler didn't like him at all. So when Hitler didn't like you, you were in a lot of trouble. But after he survived World War II, and he wrote something that reminds me of what's happening today in the United States of America, that is a warning to all of us. Because a lot of y'all out there say, I hate Trump. I can't stand it. An orange man, goofy hair. I don't like his tweets. He makes me sick. I hope they kill him. I hope they cut his head off. I hate Trump. I hate Trump. All right, that's good. That's cool. You can hate him. I don't care how they get him. As long as they get it. Okay? Let that hatred stay in you. Because that's how a lot of Germans felt about the Jews when Hitler came and started locking them up and killing them, because a lot of the Jewish bankers, had taken their companies and their land and whatnot. They couldn't stand them. And so when Hitler said, I'm going to come get them, they said, yeah, get them. Well, this is what Mr. Niemöller said, to remind them of how they'd gone wrong. And y'all better listen to this. He said, first they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because
Shout out, we'll make a way in the house.
Yeah, I'm here.
What up, brother?
I'm gonna just swing by real quick.
All right, we're gonna watch, see what's going on, and just jump in when you want to say something.
All right.
I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Do you get it now? This is why when you see injustice, you're supposed to speak out about it. At the end of the day, because they didn't speak out, Germany was destroyed. Hitler's last order before he died was to let the whole nation die, blow up the dams, allow everybody to come in and just shoot and kill and fight. He said Germany didn't deserve to survive because it lost the war. Yeah, that's what happens when these megalomaniacs take over. Everybody dies. They turn on themselves. And that's what the Democrat Party is doing right now. They have set up a society in these blue cities where you can abort babies up to the 9th month. Every woman that gets pregnant can kill their child. Did you hear what I just said? Every woman that gets pregnant can kill their child. They set up an educational system where God is not wanted and when most of the children cannot learn. If your child is learning in this system, it's by mistake. It's not by design. They invite people to come up there and live and not work, and they take the money from people who are working and give to people who are not working. What type of system do you think that sets up? What type of merit system is that? They are part of no virtue, no discipline, and full of hatred and envy. And because the mega crowd that they hate so much is behind Trump, they have to destroy Trump because they hate the white Anglo-Protestant, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. They hate it. And I'm trying to wake you guys up because they're not going to get me. I see them coming. I got too much time around. I see them suckers coming 1,000 miles away. Well, how come you think I'm old as I am and they ain't got me yet? Oh, I got a radar on my head when it comes down to them jokers. And I am not non-violent.
Who are you talking about getting him? Who are you referring to getting him? I'm just jumping in the middle.
Oh, I see him coming. You better see him coming.
Democrats?
Democrats, your woke liberals, which consist of white women, gay black men, Black women, older black men and women. That's who he's referring to.
So he's trying to say they all need to vote for Trump.
He's trying to say we as a black people need to change our ideology. We need to change our minds, because what have Democrats did for black people in the last 50, 60, 70, 100 years?
Cash for clunkers.
Okay, go ahead.
The affordable health care.
Affordable Obamacare. Okay, what else?
Student loan debt relief.
For some people, not all.
Yeah, for some people, you're right about that. I got to think of some others.
It ain't much. Black people still in the same position we've been in, and now you have people from other races, other cultures, Arabs, Indians. They come over here and start businesses and are running circles around black people.
Well, I mean, if you get into the LGBT thing, then that was a plus for you as a Democrat.
Because if not, you're going to wake up and they're going to have you in ovens. That's who they are. And this ain't Joe Biden talking about they're going to put you back in chains. Ain't nobody putting me in chains. It ain't the conservatives you got to worry about. It's these leftists that don't believe in God. Think about that, man. Giving power to somebody that has no moral basis, no moral foundation, they don't believe in God. Then what stops him? What's his bottom? What stops him from destroying you? This is how they can do that to Donald Trump. This is a shot across the bow, y'all. They went and got the biggest fish in the pond. And I'm trying to tell the American people, stand behind him. Don't let them win, because if he goes down and Biden and Harris stays there, they're going to come after all of us. That is their plan, and we got to stop it now. Abraham Lincoln, this guy was just so smart. He made a statement before the Civil War pertaining to slavery. And he said that this nation cannot remain half slave and half free. It will become all of one or all of the other. That's interesting. At the time, I thought Lincoln was saying that black slavery would have to spread north if they knew anything about it, or black slavery would have to end. No. Lincoln wasn't talking about black slavery. Come to find out later on that Lincoln was talking about slavery in general, that the Democrats were going to try to enslave everybody. That there was going to be a small group of white elitists on the top, and that the whole nation was going to be enslaved under them. To his point, when Southern Democrats would come up north and they would see white people working in factories, they would tell the industrialists, why y'all hiring them? Why don't you just enslave them? And the industrialists was looking at them like they were crazy, but they were serious. So I wouldn't pay them any wages. I'd put them in slavery. And if they had taken over like they had intended to, that's what they were going to do all over America. They were not going to have people working for wages. They were going to have themselves on top, and everybody else was going to be a slave. Lincoln saw this coming. Y'all, they haven't stopped. They'll enslave this entire nation if we don't wake up and understand who these people are and what they're doing. And again, them doing this to Donald Trump lets you know just how far they will go. They will go so far that they will take a ex-president and Trump charges up on him and put him in front of a trumped up jury, a trumped up judge in front of the whole world and take him down. I mean, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris told you how far they'll go. I mean, Kamala Harris was walking up so many black men in the state of California. She just walked down the street pointing. She said, black man, lock him up. The black man, lock him up. Black man, lock him up. And they look at him and say, hey, what is he? Is he white or is he high yellow? He high yellow? Lock him up.
That's exaggerated.
You think that's exaggerated? How you think that's exaggerated?
Kamala Harris. Now, I ain't saying she was perfect and did things right, but you just walk down the street and say, lock him up, lock him up, lock him up.
Okay.
I mean, it's funny, but I mean, come on now.
Let's hear the brother out.
All right.
Lock up everybody. So they did that to black men 220 years. And they said, now it's time to take this to a whole nother level. Yeah, just like Mr. Nehemiah said. When it came for the trade unionists, I said nothing. When it came for the socialists, I said nothing. And when it came for the Jews, I said nothing. Well, I'm saying something. Everybody said, oh, this is just a rich white man. You know, he got white privilege.
Well, this is what I can say about Kamala Harris. And I'll just show this.
All right.
And just tell me what you think about this. These are Kamala Harris's approval ratings. In June, this is June 5th, 2024. Her disapprove is 49%, almost 50%. Her approve is 38.4%. That's telling me, according to these polls, what you can believe, you don't have to believe, but I'm just showing you numbers. I'm just showing you data.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Almost half the country disapproves of Kamala Harris. So I don't know what that means to you, but what that means to me is she's not doing good. I'll just say that.
Well, I don't think she's the best either, so I can understand that.
Yeah,
but
she's definitely not doing the best.
But she was prosecutor, and maybe she helped implement some laws in California where she was at, but she wasn't the one in the police car arresting and locking the people up. It's by the time it got to her desk, the people that was getting locked up already did something to get there. I guess you would say maybe she could have let them go, but she wasn't out there patrolling.
She's a black woman. She's supposed to let black people go.
Oh, I don't think there's no politician on at least in this country that could just do one thing for one group of people. I mean, I know they got the LGBT, but I'm talking about when you talk about on the racial lines. So I mean that's going to be a never-ending debate, in my opinion, whether it's Republican or Democrat. I don't think there'll be no person that can do one thing for this one ethnicity of people or whatever you want to call it.
I got you.
And the good thing is that a black man got it. How? Black man took down one of the most powerful white men in the world, Alvin Bragg, little short, fat guy. Took down one of the most powerful black men in the world, white men in the world. That's America, all right? Okay. Alvin Bragg wasn't a black man. Alvin Bragg was a Democrat. Letitia James was not a white black woman. She's a Democrat. Fannie Willis is not a black woman. She's a Democrat. They all company people. They work for the team. It's like saying that a Nazi, if he got blue eyes, he's with a blue eye club. And if he has red hair, he's with the red hair club. No, he's a Nazi. These Democrats don't worry about color. They don't worry about sexual. They worry about the DEM. And they're all on the team to do one thing: destroy Christianity here in America, drive America mad. Make it.
We got Russia Truth in the house as well. Let's welcome Russia Truth. And Russia Truth, if you got anything to say, just let me know.
Will do. Can you hear me?
A slave nation.
Yeah.
All right.
And first they have to take out the leader. So we have to rally behind this leader. And really, I wasn't pushing Trump. I really wasn't. I was just quoting the news about him, telling people what was going on. But now this is a situation now where I'm saying, no. You can't let him win this one. You just can't do it. This is injustice. And I don't care if you like him or not. You can't stand for injustice. Because if you stand for injustice, you're evil. The Democrats have been doing this for too long. They've gotten away with it for too long. And as I've told you now, this is the Rodney King tape of what they intend, what they've been doing all over America to people. They now just happen to mess with the right one who's got the money, who has the power to hit them back. But his power only comes from us standing with him, standing beside him, and running these people back. Y'all, I hope you see what I'm telling you. I hope you understand what's going on here. I hope you understand how important this is. Joseph Sobran made a very, very great statement. It's kind of applied to me, and it's applied to Donald Trump. He said the attempt to silence a man is the greatest honor you can bestow on him. It means that you recognize his superiority to yourself. That was Joseph Sobran. What is Joseph Sobran saying? He said that when you attempt to silence a man, you'll silence him because you know that his ideology and that man is superior to you. Because if you didn't believe that, you debate him in open market. Prove his ideas wrong. Prove him wrong. See, they tried to do this with Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was the best fighter in the world. But they were afraid of Jack Johnson back in the early 1900s and from 1905 to 1909, and no white man would fight Jack Johnson. The white heavyweight champions wouldn't touch him. They knew he was superior. Yeah, they canceled it. Same way they're trying to cancel me. Yeah, they've kept me from going to college campuses. No, we don't want Ben Sullivan.
Your Republican microphone on mute.
Speaking of campuses and people out on the street, it's his white brother named James Club. He does street interviews on about people on the street, and it's interesting to see different people's perspective on what they think about, Donald Trump and different things going on in the world. Let's get us a listen for a second.
All right.
Trump spend in prison for his crime? What would you like to see?
All of his life.
All of his life.
That's what I just respect the rule of law. And for you guys to be out here celebrating a felon,
we're all fatigued. We're overloaded. We're being bombarded with nonstop attacks on America.
Do you think that he was targeted? Do you think it was a biased trial against him?
No.
What's going on, everyone? James Klug here. Donald Trump was officially convicted on 34 felony counts for the Stormy Daniels hush money case. So what do people think about this? And will it impact their decision for this year's presidential election? Today, we're going to find out. Let's go talk to some people.
I trust the jury.
Right.
They heard the facts. I didn't hear all of them. They had a time to deliberate, and they came to a verdict.
Your initial thoughts on Donald Trump getting convicted, the first in American history?
Well, it's about time.
Is in a court of law, so I'm sure the facts were presented and the jury decided.
The law did its thing, acquitted or convicted. It is what it is. Yeah. Let's see what happens next.
Yeah, the evidence showed that he was guilty, but
This is how I view it. If he doesn't actually get convicted and nothing actually happens, this is only going to help him. It's only going to feed into the idea that he's being persecuted, which absolutely, I can understand the argument for why that is.
Give me your thoughts.
Mind you, they're in California, woke liberal communist California.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want you to understand where he is and you know, the opinion of certain people.
Thoughts on Donald Trump getting convicted?
Oh, that was bullshit. Am I allowed to say bullshit?
Yes.
Come on. You kidding me? A shame. It's a stain on America, a stain on our legal system, and on the Democratic Party.
You guys see it as more targeting Donald Trump than anything?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why don't they start doing this to the Clintons? Why don't they start doing this to all the way back to Roosevelt?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it said that he has more felonies now than Al Capone. It's like,
that's correct.
This is targeted.
Everything is political.
Political.
I think they're trying to assassinate him
Political assassination.
so that he won't become president.
Yeah, for sure. There you
So
go.
we're going to vote even more for him.
Obviously, it's very unfortunate, and
You see the black man with his white woman. He know what time it is.
Yeah, well, I do
You
think
see what's
that,
going on.
I do think that it gives people an incentive to vote more. I don't think it actually hurts Donald Trump in no way. I mean, if people already had their mind made up to vote for Donald Trump, I think they're gonna vote for him anyway. It's something the laws did just because they can do, but I don't think it's gonna change nobody's opinion if they already decided they for him or against him or whatever. Just
It's
because
no, yeah, he's definitely. I believe he got more support because, as you saw, like after the convictions, how the record-breaking amount of donations he received afterward.
right.
You had a lot of you got a lot of people that do business in New York that no, they saw the writing on the wall, because even was it Letitia James? Is how Letitia James? She's starting to go after businesses that aren't operating in New York. She's going after them based off of their products being sold in New York. I can't remember what it was. There was one case or one situation in particular, but she's reaching. She's reaching. So a lot of those multi-billionaires, they're not that the same stuff that they supposedly getting Trump on felony charges for. All of them have practically done. So anybody can just be next. So he's gained a lot of support. I think he's gained a lot more support after that.
Mm-hmm. I think just another thing, because it'd be the first time that we had a president that was a so-called convicted felon. So I think that's one of those first time things. Let's do it just because we can. Let's put a felon in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
to this country.
So you think it's a bad?
Go ahead.
No. You good? I was just agreeing.
Yeah, you liberal.
Well,
you see it as
another thing. If they put a felon in there and it don't work out, and the economy or whatever, the country go to hell, it just be the chickens coming home to roost anyway for the people that discovered this land, so-called America. So it could be a good thing in that way, and it could be a good thing for President Trump get in there, make some good rules, and implement some good policies and everything. But if it all goes to hell, it's just the chickens coming home to roost. You know what I'm saying?
The chicken's already home.
I'm talking about the system that was built. It wasn't built by a person of your hue. You know what hue is, right? Right. So it'd be, if it goes all to hell because he put a convicted felon on it, it's just they own SHIT collapsing on themselves. You feel me?
Look, you can cuss on my platform. I don't give a crap.
Well, that's another way to look at it.
Speak your mind. Yeah, you're sounding woke right now, but I'm gonna go ahead with this.
Yeah.
Bias trial against Donald Trump.
Yes.
Has this impacted your willingness or decision or anything to vote for Donald Trump?
No, not still going to vote Trump.
We have July.
Damn right.
We have the judge that will be sentencing Donald Trump. If he gives Donald Trump jail time, would you guys still vote for Donald Trump even if he was in jail?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
100%.
Would you still vote for Donald Trump if he was in jail?
Nothing's going to change my mind.
100%.
Yeah, I'll still vote for him, of course. Yeah.
Of course. I mean, it's got to be obvious. You'd have to be blind or like mentally disabled not to see what's happening here.
How much time would you like to see Donald Trump spend in prison for his crime? What would you like to see?
All of his life.
All of his life.
For you to celebrate it.
Damn. Now hold up. This British, this UK man come over here talking about he want Trump to spend all his life in prison.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy Trump age, a short sentence could be a death sentence. So
yeah, I mean, and Biden already did. So what's the difference?
Did you side top? Did you see the Trump and Dr. Phil interview?
I did, and I can bring that up if y'all want.
I mean, we ain't gotta do it now, but they brought some decent points. I give them they brought some decent points in that, but a government official like a president, is that person required to have at least a secret clearance in the government? Can anybody answer that?
Are they required to have a security clearance?
A security clearance, right?
Oh yeah, he would have to.
All right. So can a person with 34 or how many ever counts felonies on their record clear a security clearance process to get that?
It depends on. I don't know about. Yeah, I think, but no, I don't think that they would allow that. I mean, they're pulling out all the stops to get him. I call it that they're running scared because no one can tell us what he was convicted of. All we know is there was 34 counts.
So how go ahead.
No. I mean, just like no one can literally say what it was that he was convicted of.
Right. I guess we gotta look that up. But how can a president be a president if he's doesn't have the clearance level to be a president, because the so-called clearances say you can't have felonies on your record to pass a security clearance.
I guess they'll pass certain duties on to the vice president, because they did say that he could serve if he does end up in prison. They've already stated that he could serve his presidency in jail. I mean, they stated that numerous times. So maybe it'll get passed on, to that. I mean, if he's in prison and he's president, then that just means the vice president will have to step up.
And he'd just be a man sitting in the chair.
Hey, he'll still be president.
See, this is kind of intellectual stuff that old boy TV drops the ball on, and gets off camera and can't answer these questions, and leaves it up to the panelists to discuss these things because he's dumbfounded right now. But I ain't gonna go in too hard, but it's a good show.
No, speak your mind, you liberal. Oh, your mind.
No, but I think.
Hold on. First off, Donald Trump, Joe Biden is the worst president in the United States history, and that's facts. That's not feeling. That's not subjective. That's objective by the data, by the numbers. This man is 70 something years old, going on 400. He can't stay up in meetings. He can't complete a sentence. He has the worst economy in United States history. We had $1.80 gas. We about to be in World War III. We're in war with Ukraine. We're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine. We're sending billions of dollars to Israel. We're about to be in a war with Taiwan and China. This is the worst. This is just as bad as Obama.
Well, you just had Putin declare the U.S. as the enemy of Russia.
So Trump was getting along with all these other powers of the world because he knows how to negotiate.
Well, I give Trump that.
Biden is a bumbling idiot.
I give Trump that. He did try to, say why we need to be, at odds with these people. I give him that. But, it didn't make sense.
He's a bumbling idiot.
But
he got on camera. He got on camera, said he shite himself Did you
He
see him?
admitted that?
He said, that was,
Yeah. He said he got on camera. Said my butt's been wiped.
yeah, my butt's been wiped.
If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Well, he's the only president, which I'm in the middle. I play the middle of the road. I ain't gonna lie. You know,
pick a side. Lift your nuts up and pick a side.
But if any president did anything, I guess specifically just for so-called black folks, he gave you Juneteenth. I mean, even though if you can't get off work that day, then I'm sorry for you. But I guess that's one isolated thing for black folks that the man's done, right?
What good is a holiday when you can't go out and afford anything to celebrate it?
But that's
like
the most.
If you want Juneteenth, I mean, hey, have at it. I don't, you know, that's up to, you know, to each his own. But what's the point in having a holiday when you can't afford to go out and grill, to go out and buy that 6-pack of beer and some ribs and hot dogs and invite all the block over and stuff like that? What's the point of it? And not only that, but not too many people celebrate Juneteenth anyway, honestly. But again, that's to each his own.
That's the truth. I hear you. But if they couldn't afford them hot dogs and them hamburgers and them corn dogs, you know, that's a bigger issue.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. You're saying he gave a holiday. You know, he gave Juneteenth. Okay, he gave Juneteenth, but you gave them a day to be off when, like, they can't really celebrate it if they wanted to because you made the economy so freaking bad.
Okay,
like everything is shot up. So
go ahead.
If they wanted to celebrate it, I mean, I guess cheese and crackers.
Well, let's make it a little bit more personal. Do you identify as African American?
I identify as American.
Okay.
I identify as a black American. I don't identify as African American.
Can you afford a hot dog and a hamburger and buns and ketchup and mustard?
Can I afford it?
Can you afford that?
Yes.
Yeah. But but you still get, that's not me though. I mean, you got to plan that stuff out, and plus I buy a cow anyway, so.
See, then you rolling in though. So
I ain't rolling in nothing.
So when the Juneteenth holiday, I think is coming up, are you going to be off work?
Yeah, I'm gonna be off work.
Are you going to get paid to be off work?
Of course, I'm gonna be paid to get off work.
Okay, so we can't worry about the minorities that can't afford hamburger buns. We got to worry about the people that's taking advantage of what Joe Biden has laid out for you. Okay.
Look, to me, it's just another day.
Them people got a bigger problem than politics if they can't afford some buns.
All I'm saying is he gave black people a holiday, and black people can't afford no buns to celebrate said holiday.
So you want the white folks just to go to work on Juneteenth?
No,
I ain't saying anybody got to go to work. I ain't saying anybody got to be off. I'm just saying if he gave a holiday, he could have at least gave you a way to celebrate it financially.
Make a way.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead, sir.
What type of school did you graduate from? What type of college did you graduate from?
An American college.
Okay. What state was that American college? You don't got to say the state. What type of college?
It was a HBCU.
Oh, hold on, stop right there. What did Joe Biden do for HBCUs? Can you tell me anything that he's done for HBCUs?
I don't think he done that. I think Trump done something for him.
Oh, what did Trump do?
I think something with some funding or something like that.
Oh, he gave you Negroes money.
I see both sides. He gave you COVID money too.
Man, there's our taxes.
Oh, so you going off a
and
stimulus?
We got tax on it.
Blacks. Oh, I got my stimulus.
Yeah,
I like Trump because I got my stimulus.
Look, I'm not ashamed to say I voted for Trump, but I see it this way. Like when the man lost, I can kind of, for me now, I'll speak for me. I can see it is what it is. I ain't gonna just be like, man, be down and riot and and all this stuff because Trump lost. And all kind of like, well, damn, it is what it is. Now where we go forward, so that's why I see it. I guess I recognize Trump and I like Trump, but I'm not a super fan, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But he was the better choice. He was the better choice, and I voted for him just because he was the better choice, not because Trump got a golden magic stick or something like that.
He do got the golden magic stick, and he is the better choice. He's not was the better choice.
No, he don't got the Midas touch.
We're talking about the interview I did last night.
Let's listen to what Brother Phil got to say. Let's listen to what Brother Phil got to say.
Tonight at Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, with former President Donald Trump.
You literally laid out, okay, I am now going to ask you about retribution and revenge.
That's the longest interview I think he's ever done.
Their TikToks have been taken down if they have anything about Trump.
And if they're not doing their job, we need to kick them to the curb and get somebody that will. That's how we need to do it. I want to introduce some good friends, colleagues and experts in their field. First is former prosecutor and News on Merritt Street anchor, Lonnie Coombs. We've been working together for many, many years out in LA. Also is my good friend who has left an indelible mark on the courtroom, Dallas trial lawyer for 50 years, Rod Phelan. He is an absolutely brilliant legal mind. Is really committed to justice. And finally, Greg Hartley. He is a body language expert and a member of behavior panel. And he's part of the family here at Merritt Street. So he's watching every one of you to see if you're doing anything. And it is absolutely brilliant and part of the behavior panel team. So I'll start with you four.
And before we go on, if you agree, you disagree, leave it in the comments. If you like the video, like the video. If you dislike the video, dislike the video.
Now,
if you're in my stream, make sure you get my likes up. Go ahead.
Now, I'm not sure if it's still on YouTube, but they had the actual interview. This is like a reaction, which I'm not sure how good or bad this is too.
I'm gonna play this, and I'm gonna try to find the actual.
But I'm not sure if it's still up. I know it was up last night, but you know how that'd be.
How long was the interview?
I don't know. I think it might have been like an hour long.
We're gonna play this for now, and I'm gonna see if I can find the actual interview.
And anybody can just jump in. You were all watching the interview, and I'm curious what your takeaways were from the interview. Anything jumped out at you? Because we're talking about someone that, according to the polls, may very likely resume the presidency of the United States soon, which would very likely put him back in a position of being the most powerful man on the planet in terms of politics, military power, and control. And I think this was an opportunity to have a look at him like we don't often see. So I'm just curious what your takeaways were.
Well, for me, right off, your relationship was clear, that you had a relationship with him, that you could talk to him in a way a lot of people may not be able to. And that chemistry matters. You know, Jung, the famous psychologist, once said that no two people are the same after interaction. So we had to watch for that. And we could see when he understood that you were not there just to excoriate him and just go after him, that he made a good eye contact with you and started to pay attention and was like, okay, somebody gets what I'm saying at least.
All right, well, let's take a look. We have a clip of what you're pointing out.
You know, it was interesting when you called the other day about doing an interview. A lot of people want to do interviews, and I don't just agree to them very easily. But I've always had great respect for you. I watch your show, some of the real good ones. And
what do you see?
So if you watched him, we typically think when people are having an emotional thought, they look down and to their right, their eyes will go down and to the right. Think about the last wedding or funeral you went to, and that will happen. We see him do that when he's describing the problem. But as soon as he starts saying somebody of your stature, watch him raise his head and make eye contact and show respect. That's powerful. That means who else is going to do that?
Right. You know, my position, just so you know, going into this kind of interview is I'm not a gotcha interviewer. I've never been a gotcha interviewer. I want to give people a chance to tell their story, say what they want to say, and then ask questions that I think the viewer would want asked. And if they don't answer them, then I'm going to ask them again. And if they go off on a 4th of July speech, then I'm going to say, well, that was a nice speech. Now answer my question. I do want my questions answered, but I give them a chance to say what they want to say. But then, and I told him at one point, I want people to get to know you because you're always campaigning. I don't want you campaigning. I want you to talk to us as a father and a husband and an individual. We want to know who you are, because he's got a speech that he gives, a stump speech that he gives. We've heard that. We want to hear some other things. And he was willing to do that.
Yeah, it showed when he made eye contact with you. From that point on, I watched him throughout the entire interview. He cared what you thought, and that's important because it gives a person the opportunity to actually show you the human side as well.
Yeah, and by the way, I have an invitation to President Biden to do the same thing. I have an interview scheduled with RFK Jr. For week after next to do the same thing. These are the 3 people that are
Put it
involved.
in the back chat.
Maybe RFK Jr. as a spoiler, but he could swing this whole election one way or the other. So I'm talking to all the candidates that'll talk to me. So we'll see how that goes. Rod, what do you think?
Well, I wrote down 5 things, Phil. He is the toughest guy I have ever seen. I've tried cases, of course, and you're exhausted when you try a case as a lawyer. Just imagine if you're sitting there powerless, the client, the guy who's got the bullseye painted on him, your freedom's at stake, and you've got no control over what happens in the courtroom. You got a hostile judge. You think the jury's hostile. Your lawyers may or may not be doing what you want them to do. And Trump and he's getting it from all sides. That was one of 5 cases. I mean, and he just goes forward full steam ahead. Second, he wears a bullseye and he gets shot at because he's so formidable. I mean, this guy is really a force. I mean, I said to somebody, Phil kind of attended that interview as opposed to conducting it. And that's all you can do with a guy like Trump.
Well, we just signed professional bull riding here, and so I thought that was a warm-up for that.
Right.
Very good one.
3, he stays on message. He may wind around, but it's a familiar message, and he's going in the direction that he wants to go.
I'm just trying to help you from not getting a strike from just letting it play, just wide open like that. But speaking of bull riding, this is off topic. While you queuing up whatever you queuing up over there, did you see? I forgot what state that in when the bull got out the bullpen at the bull thing. You probably didn't.
Oh
see
yeah,
that.
sent those people to the hospital.
Yeah, that was crazy. It's
Yeah,
time to sue the hell out of somebody.
I was about to say I saw her hit that one woman.
Yeah, she flew like 10 feet in the air.
Yeah, it's like how I tossed my sock across the yard.
Oh,
She
wow.
she got tossed. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I still want to go to a rodeo.
Yeah,
That'll still be cool.
they got them. I think once a year, like in Blythewood somewhere.
Yeah, I see the signs up, but they always like the competitions. So I don't ever see them from the beginning or anything. I'll get there one day.
Mm-hmm. But this I guess they're just critiquing the thing or whatever. But Donald Trump actually got it up on his YouTube channel. Which shout out to Trump for putting it up because I don't think it's even on Dr. Phil's own channel or whatever.
Yeah, it ain't.
But
no.
But Donald Trump said, "Hell with it, put it on his channel." That might have been the Donald Trump do some sneaky deals, but it's legal, but it's the edge of legal. So he probably said, Dr. Phil, I'll let you interview me, but I'm gonna post the shit. You ain't posting nothing. You can post a reaction, but and that's fair.
I would like to think that he would allow him to, but it is interesting. I mean, I've only seen clips of it. I haven't watched it through and through, but it will be interesting to hear everyone else's reactions after Biden's. I wonder how long that'll last.
He said Biden had an open invitation. He didn't say he accepted it though.
Yeah.
Let's
so
play this for a few minutes and see what they're saying.
Yeah, because it is pretty long.
I'm gonna cut through it, but
A life of no pressure whatsoever. Same skill, and that she was sued and it was having a big impact on her.
Mad cow.
And I thought it was great. And Oprah used to really like me. She was here many times.
Yeah.
She loved my key lime pie. We have key lime pie, and she loved a lot of things about Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
And Roger King, as you know.
Yeah, we were with the matters at hand. And the answer is 0. That gets into the jury box if you take the witness stand. Again, that is black letter law. You can't let in unrelated things that have more prejudicial impact than probative nature. That just doesn't happen, but it happened 1, 2, 3 things right in a row,
Right.
and that gets into the jury box.
If you testify, they'll be able to ask you about all these different things. And by the way, if you say one thing if you say it was a beautiful day, as I remember it, and it was raining out, we're going to indict you for perjury.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I have a lot of lawyers that are friends and this and that. I had probably 25 guys over the course of a couple of months say, whatever you do, don't testify, because you'll say something that's a little bit off and you will be indicted for lying, for perjury. These are evil people. These are sick, evil people.
Demons.
Oh, I would have thrown myself in front of your car to keep you from testifying.
No, I wanted to so badly. And by the way, I would have loved to have testified about those things because it was so corrupt and so horrible. But he wouldn't have allowed me to answer the questions properly. And I would have loved to have testified. I wanted to.
Go ahead.
I think Trump lawyers did the right thing. Don't let this man get on the stand because, even though he was a president, but you got so many people after him, all these lawyers, they would have asked all kind of crazy questions to cross him up. So I think that was good on his lawyer's part, not letting him talk through that whole trial. Just tell him just sit down and shut up. He could talk when he get out front to the cameras like he was doing. He said he don't want to get on the stand.
Rush is true.
Lost my train of thought. That was quick.
I mean, we can come back to you if we need to.
Well, I can ask the question: do you think Donald Trump should have took the stand in his own trial?
Hell no.
No, I think
that's what I'm paying these lawyers for.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. They would have found anything that they could have to just because you saw that they put a gag order on him. He wasn't able to come out and verbally defend himself. That's why a lot of people think that when he had Vivek and who was it? He had several people show up and they did that press conference like afterwards. What was it? What was that black guy's name? Byron. Anyway, they believe that that's why they came out that time to speak on behalf of him, because anytime he said anything, he's still under a gag order right now.
Right.
And he can't. There's like one lawyer that he can't even say that lawyer's name. That's how ridiculous it is. Everybody else can say it, but he can't say it. He cannot say the lawyer's name. He'll get in trouble for it. So he even got in trouble for what was that last trial, that crazy woman that said that he raped her and all of that stuff, and then they said that she is owed like $400 and something million, something ridiculous. He got in trouble for saying that he didn't do it. He got in trouble for saying like that he didn't do it, and just because he blatantly said that he didn't do it, they punished him for it. So he can't even come out and really say anything to defend himself.
Yeah, they gagged him, but I guess let me play with devil's advocate. When a person like Donald Trump, he's so much into the media because he's been a media person before he was the president. So you got people like Old Boy TV. When Donald Trump come out there and say this was a travesty, I was done wrong, you got people that will follow this man everywhere he say and show up at people's houses or people's place of work or whatever in the name of Donald Trump, even though he didn't come out and say do this or do that, kind of like the January 6th thing. He didn't actually tell them to do that, but because they love Donald Trump so much. So I guess maybe they're looking at it as, because the average person will go on a trial, it would come out and go straight to their car, hold their head down, maybe speak one or two. But Donald Trump's gonna come out there and let them have it when he come in front of the cameras, right? He's gonna call people stupid, dumb, needs to be off the bench, and that's gonna trickle down to people, like the Fannie Willis. That's a good example, right? Them people, she had to move, she had to leave her house because them people, going out in front of her house, the Trump folks. So I guess they trying to calm that down, which it ain't nothing illegal what Trump is doing by talking, because he could talk, he could say whatever he want to say. I mean, he ain't perjuring himself or whatever you call it, but his fans you take that shit to heart.
Oh, it's like, I didn't know anybody was showing up at Fonnie's house. If she said it, I don't believe it.
Well, she could have been lying, but that's what she said.
That's what they always say. That's the crazy part, because like they really expected us. I mean, I ain't gonna be ashamed to say it. I'm a Trump supporter. I mean, I got my free Trump hat in the mail the other day.
Right.
But regardless, you can blatantly see the difference between those that are supportive of Trump. Yeah, you're gonna have some crazies. That's just people. You can't fix stupid.
Right.
Some people are gonna go out there and they're gonna be reckless and ridiculous, but they don't, speak for everybody. But for the majority of it, though, you don't have Trump supporters out there tearing up the streets when we found out that they found him guilty. There was no crazy rioting in the streets. No one had to board up their businesses. No one got, no one had to be escorted out the back of the courthouse to avoid the Trump mob, the MAGA mob. You didn't have any of that. But if for example, during George Floyd, Derek Chauvin, if he wasn't convicted, they would have tore that street up even more. Forget, that it would have taken years if they would have made it look like a bomb went off downtown after that. But you don't have Trump supporters out there acting like that. Again, you gonna have some crazy people regardless, but they're not gonna come out there and show out like that. I mean, we actually got jobs. We know we got it. We know stuff like that. It's not gonna change anything. You're gonna have some supporters out there at the courthouse or whatever, of course. That's expected, but to the magnitude of how they try to paint us, like who was it? Maxine Waters claiming that Trump supporters are out there learning, trying to wait till the time to rise up and start a war or some crazy stuff like that. That's all that scared crazy talk. There's nobody doing all of that stuff.
Well, we can't forget about the injustice done to Robert De Niro.
And Robert De Niro, he stepped in that one. That's his fault. He should have stepped. He should have stayed on stage. He did lose some. He did lose some awards that he was supposed to get after that.
Yeah, Robert De Niro, he wanted to take it to the streets. He shouldn't have done
that. Dude over there. No, he over there talking about what was it, that they're gonna get tossed in jail. Trump's gonna go after them. Yeah, they really think Trump's gonna go after them. Y'all think Trump's gonna go after anybody like that? AOC said it. Rachel Maddow said it. Robert De Niro said it. A lot of them think that they're gonna get tossed in jail if Trump gets back in.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all think he's gonna do that?
Think what's gonna happen? Who's gonna get tossed in jail?
Yeah, AOC, believes Trump's going to come after her, throw her in jail. Rachel Maddow believes he's going to go after others and toss them in jail.
No.
Others believe that he's going to come after them to throw them in jail. Robert De Niro said the same thing, that Trump's going to throw him in jail.
If he wins the presidency, I think he's just gonna focus on doing his presidential American stuff. Now he's gonna talk trash, but I don't think he's gonna go further than that. And then that's going, if you become president, that trash talking ain't gonna last but so long. He ain't gonna be stuck on them until they come out and keep talking about him. But I think he's gonna have bigger fish to fry than to worry about them if he comes to the point where he's the next president.
I agree. I agree. There's more that needs to be done other than. And if there's certain investigations that are launched due to certain situations, okay, I can see, but as we've already seen in a lot of stuff, which is another thing that pisses me off, they got these people dead to rights, guilty on what they've done, but nothing's happened.
Well, if he get in there, he needs to go ahead and pardon Biden's son and go ahead and put Biden balls in his hand by doing that.
Nah, make that boy stay in prison.
All right, yeah, okay.
We be in jail.
Yeah, you nigga, you done trolled enough.
I'm telling you, they had to hold me back. But every lawyer that came, they'd always start to say, by the way, I'm afraid of yours, don't testify. And they saw what he was doing. They can ask you about like anything. They can do nothing to do with this case. All of these outside things. And it was really an unfair trial. There's a very brilliant judge in Florida that's holding the government. It looks like, she's looking into what happened because, they raided Mar-a-Lago. Right. And they took stuff out by the satchel. They took bags and bags of stuff. And I said, what are they taking? Are they saying what they're taking? Because they can add things. They can add the nuclear codes in there. They say, hey, he had the nuclear codes. And this was all stuff that under the Presidential Records Act, I'm allowed to do. By the way, Biden was totally exonerated. Now, I'm not sure I want that kind of an exoneration. They basically said he's incompetent to stand trial, but he could be president. Think of that. He's not sharp enough, got no memory, got no this, got no that. He's incompetent. Basically, they're saying he can't stand trial due to incompetence, but he can run for president. What's going on?
Yeah.
What are we missing here?
Yeah, it makes everybody uncomfortable about that state of affairs. And what I was concerned about with everything that happened in this New York trial is one of the big myths is that the burden of proof lies with the prosecution. Mm-hmm. That is the law. But I can tell you after years and years and years of trial, the truth is that the jury sits there and says, I'm looking at all this, and if we're not down here for the reason they say we're down here, somebody needs to give me an alternative explanation of why we are down here. So if we're not down here because of what the prosecutors are telling us, then what's the alternative story? What's the alternative explanation? And when you get muzzled in the way that this judge muzzled this case, they're sitting there saying, what's the rest of the story? You're not allowed to testify because you're in jeopardy if you do. They let all of this other stuff in that should never get into the jury box. And so, the scales get tipped. And it gets very, very difficult to get even one juror because there's not an alternative story that if you could tell without being in peril, if you can tell without being intimidated, it would be a very different situation. The burden legally is on the prosecution, but logically with the jury,
until proven innocent.
That's exactly the truth.
I can tell you that's the truth with me.
That's how it plays out. And I did a focus group about this when I did a
Well, he can do a focus group, but at the end of the day, I got one more topic, and that's his crackhead named Hunter Biden.
Yeah, because I'm about to close it out shortly. It's kind of impromptu.
Yeah. We're gonna do a few more minutes. Let's clip 5 minutes. I want to hear y'all reaction, and tell me what y'all think about this.
Okay.
Because there's a bunch of buck dancing and cooning going on right now. So, I don't want to. I don't want to turn it up too much.
Go ahead.
Bunch of buck dancing going on.
has been found guilty on all counts
Guilty.
in his gun trial, federal trial in Wilmington, Delaware. All right, Leo, your first response.
My first response is I go back to the Harris Faulkner Leo Terrell segment about 6 months ago when you asked me that question. Is there any way that plea deal could be stopped? I said the judge. The judge played a major role in the rule of law by saying, I'm not going to agree to this plea deal, had questions, and that's why we're here today. The American public needs to know that. That is the rule of law, and I applaud the judge. That she did an outstanding job in following the rule of law.
Andrew, do they appeal? What does this look like? Because September is going to be here in a heartbeat, and you've got that tax fraud trial, which you say is stronger than this.
Well, Hunter got exactly what he was asking for. He wanted this trial. He got it, and he got a big guilty verdict because what he did over the years, his actions and his words that provided the government the evidence for that. What he, I think, has done through this is left open the possibility of an appeal. The Second Amendment issues related to having this kind of drug addiction or drug use at the time of buying or possessing a gun is not necessarily settled law through the Supreme Court. So I see this going through an appellate channel where they're challenging the underlying basis of the law, not his conduct itself.
Aren't they looking at?
So make a way. Let me ask you this: what is your opinion on the president's, not the president, but the president's son, smoking crack and screwing hookers, owning guns illegally, or doing drugs while he's owning guns, which is illegal? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I'm still trying to understand. So the gun charges, he was prohibited from having guns because of something prior that he did before.
He was prohibited from having guns because he was doing drugs. You're not supposed to legally have a gun when you're doing drugs.
Right. When if they find a gun on you with drugs, that's like a felony or something.
Yeah. If you smoking, yeah.
So
if you smoking crack and got a gun, that's illegal.
So what I'm asking is, do they got him on drugs too, or that trial ain't come up yet?
That ain't came up yet. That ain't came up yet. But what's your opinion on the United States president's son? What does that tell you about the morality of the family? Like, what does that tell you about? I already know what you're gonna say. It ain't got nothing to do with Joe Biden.
I mean, to a certain extent, I'm gonna say that. I mean, it's a bad look on Joe Biden, nonetheless. But I mean, Joe Biden's almost 80. This man here look almost 60.
What's worse, Joe Biden's son smoking crack and having guns and having hookers, or Trump screwing a woman outside of his marriage? I don't know what's worse. I mean,
well, it's not illegal to have sex, and that woman that got Trump for that money was that was like civil stuff. He said he don't know who that is.
So what's worse?
The felony stuff is worse.
Right now, I mean,
now I would say if it was true, but it ain't true because I don't think they got Trump on no so-called rape thing. But I think if that was the case, that would have been worse.
Russia true.
You mean the whole Hunter? You mean starting with the Hunter?
Yeah, what's your opinion on this Hunter Biden situation?
My thing, so of course, so Biden claims that he's not going to pardon his son, but I'll call bullshit on that. I think this is a smoke and mirrors. There's going to be more to it. I mean, it would have been because at the same time, like, and you got to think about the timing of it. Biden today came out and gave a speech on what is it, assault weapon ban or something like that today, like right after his son was found guilty. I mean, there was even cocaine found on the gun. It was a revolver, 38 special that he had. So even cocaine was found on that when they retrieved it. And it just like the left are going to have a hard time trying to spin this one simply because they always call for deeper and harsher background checks and stuff like that. And now you actually see what happens when things are done correctly, and when the person that applied for that gun or purchased that gun lies on their background check, you actually see how the justice system is supposed to work in that. So there's a lot to pull from it. And I mean, shoot, honestly, but it was the way that it went about. This is still one of the smaller. This is one of the smaller trials revolving around Hunter and his crazy life and things that he did illegally with his dad and with his uncle, because those are still awaiting trial as well. Um, so, and I to say up to 25 years, he might not serve any of that time, honestly. You know, they might slap a little anklet around him and tell him to walk down the street and back and be like, "Good job," type of thing. He's not gonna see any of that time. They're really, I think this is just a way for them to try to say, "Hey, look, our justice system works. It is fair." Because you just had Trump convicted, even though we know that was bogus. I mean, they took something that was what is it, a misdemeanor that was outside of the statute of limitations and so on and so forth, and then you like throw the man under jail, and then you got this thing with Hunter Biden, up to 25 years he could face, 3 counts, and it's like I say, I just call smoke and mirrors on it. It's an election year. Biden has to show himself to be strong and, lay down the gauntlet, so to speak, and it's going to be viewed as, oh, this is tough love from a father. So
Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. Let's go ahead and finish this clip out.
Well, let me say
I
one
know
more thing
the
about the
U.S.
pardon
Supreme
thing.
Court has a
Go ahead.
I think it would be a terrible look if he does pardon him. I think by at least his cabinet, I don't know if he know better, but I think his cabinet know better that he shouldn't do that. Now, if this election come up and then Biden loses, then go ahead and pardon him. Might as well before you get up out of there. Go ahead.
I think it'll be one or two real quick. I think it'll be like, if he wins, he gets pardoned. If Biden does make it into the second term, because there's also, people doubt that that's going to happen. They think he's going to be replaced, but that's something else. But yeah, or at the end of his term on the way out, yeah. So because you got to remember, Hunter is his last son, his only remaining son. So how would it look for him to allow his one and only living son to spend any time behind bars?
Yeah, and then your daddy might pass away while your son while he locked up.
Yeah,
but go ahead with the propaganda.
a lot on its plate. I don't know if they'll get to that one.
Yeah, there's various versions, not this exact question before them right now, but the issue of whether guns and gun possession is more consistent with preventing.
So who shows more propaganda, CNN or Fox?
I'm gonna say everybody.
Cut News Network.
People who
Well,
have like a mental
I guess
illness
the deliverers
versus
go a little bit more harder.
People who are on alcohol. Alcohol itself, typically not something that prohibits gun possession or ownership, but mental illness may be. So the Supreme Court is looking deep into exactly when the Second Amendment can be essentially revoked from an individual with regard to their mental condition or the substances that they use.
Jonathan Turley, if you're still with us, I'm going to ask you about what this does overall to the tenor in the United States. I mean, this case was very different than how former President Trump was treated in a lot of different ways. Two different cases, so we can understand some of it, but not all of it. He's still under a gag order.
Well, this was a very fair judge, in my view. She ruled for the defense and for the prosecutors on different issues. She went right down the middle of the road. And I think in the end, justice was done here. This jury was able to overcome a nullification strategy. I think part of the problem was that Abby Lowell, the defense attorney, put forward a bunch of defenses in the opening statement that collapsed within 48 hours. The prosecutors did an extraordinarily good job here. They were focused, they were disciplined, and they methodically took apart each of these defenses in front of the jury. And when you pursue a nullification strategy, it can go too far sometimes. It can make the jury feel like they're being treated as chumps. And I think that here the jury followed
Jonathan,
their instructions,
excuse me,
did their
we're
duty.
seeing the First Lady Jill Biden walk into the courthouse. So it's taken a little bit longer for all of the family members to reassemble. We saw Hunter Biden go a few minutes ago back into the courthouse, but we knew that once a verdict had been reached, at least he would return, and maybe even all of that family. Previously, we saw Joe Biden's brother James go in too. So they are reassembling ahead of the reading of this verdict. Jonathan, finish your thought.
Well, that was an interesting moment to have the First Lady come in, because I'm sure the prosecutors were not happy with having this array of Biden family members, very famous figures, behind Hunter. It reminded this jury that this is Biden town. This is Wilmington. This is where the Bidens reside. And it says a lot about the jurors that they overcame that. There was obvious sympathy for the defendant. I had sympathy for the defendant. When you hear his account of his struggle with drugs, you can't be anything but empathetic. But there was also an unavoidable series of criminal acts in all of this. And by saying things like he might not have checked the box, or he had a moment of sobriety, or maybe he was just using alcohol, really, I think, might have insulted some of the jurors. The way that Lowell made it sound is that the question meant, are you doing drugs while you're purchasing this weapon?
While you fill out the form.
He narrowed it so much. Right.
And what the witnesses told, right down to his ex-girlfriend, who was the wife, now widow, of his brother Beau, was just how extensive.
This dude went with his brother's wife, got with his brother's wife after he died.
She was vulnerable.
Let me finish.
I mean, he gave it 2 years.
Yeah.
That drug use was around about the time that he bought that gun. And she knew how bad it was. Let's just remember, she knew how bad it was. That's who went to search the truck for paraphernalia and came up with the gun.
Thinking would start cutting.
Buffoonery, coonery, and foolery going on. Hey, we're gonna go ahead and end this one out. And shout out to Will Make a Way. Shout out to Trust.
God, dog.
Rush the truth. That's
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I want to say trust the truth, but rush the truth. Let's go ahead and subscribe to their channel. And,
I think Jill Biden's a good woman.
What?
I think Jill Biden's a good woman. I see her speak. She talked real nice. She seemed way more hip than Joe Biden. She don't want to need to be up trying to run for something. She seemed, up on her toes. She seemed pretty hip to be an older woman, more than Joe.
Okay. Anyways,
one more thing.
Go ahead.
This is Biden's first term, right?
Yeah.
So if Trump win, he can double back like Trump doing now. So let's, they can keep that on the table. That's all.
Cornery, buffoonery, and foolery going on. Anyways, I appreciate y'all for checking out the stream, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to all my people. And we out.
All right, appreciate it.
All right.
Later.